the explosion of Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz's feud with David and Victoria, an inside look at the drama and what it will take to heal exclusive, the conflict between David and Victoria Beckham and their son Brooklyn and his wife, Nicola Peltz Beckham, has escalated into a public conflict. Insiders disclose the true cause of the poisonous conflict. Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz Beckham will celebrate their 4th wedding anniversary in just 2 months. However, rather than thinking back on pleasant memories, the pair is still healing from an extravagant and dramatic wedding day that shattered a fragile bond between a young couple and Brooklyn's famous parents, David and Victoria Beckham. What started out as family strife over alleged slights about a wedding dress. Brooklyn says his mother withdrew from designing his wife's gown in the 11th hour, and a special dance between the newlyweds, which Brooklyn claims Victoria hijacked, has now escalated into a full-fledged public dispute that has everyone wondering how things got this bad, and who is really at fault. Although Brooklyn and his parents don't now agree on anything, sources on both sides concur that there are no winners. A source claims that rumors of conflict between the couples, who now only communicate through attorneys, first surfaced in May of last year. However, until January 19th, when Brooklyn, 26, launched a series of vicious Instagram postings mocking his parents and accusing them of everything from his lifelong anxiety problems to attempting to ruin his marriage. None of the Beckhams, Brooklyn, or Nicola publicly addressed the conflict. According to a Brooklyn source, he did this because he and Nicola, 31, think that David, 50, and Victoria, 51, are directly responsible for all the negative publicity he and his spouse have had over the past few years. According to a Brooklyn source, they are so beaten down. Brooklyn claimed to have received endless attacks from my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to the press on their orders, in a startling social media post. David and Victoria's representatives declined to comment to people. Brooklyn also attacked the idea that Nicola is in charge of him in his long letter, calling it completely backward. For the majority of my life, my parents have dominated me. I had severe anxiety as a child. He added, that anxiousness has vanished for the first time in my life since separating from my family. I do not want to make amends with my family. I have discovered serenity and am thankful for the life I have chosen every morning. David and Victoria were shocked and dismayed by the public outburst, according to sources who spoke to people. The two put on a brave front a few days later on January 24th at the 50th birthday celebration for Emma "Baby Spice" Bunton, Victoria's former Spice Girls bandmate, according to a source. They are staying quiet because they don't want to draw more attention to it. Another insider claims that David and Victoria love Brooklyn and are afraid of losing their son, despite the fact that they are hurting from their son's harsh remarks. They would return him in a moment. Nicola, an actress who grew up in Bedford, New York, and Palm Beach, is one of 10 children of billionaire businessman Nelson Peltz, 83. He shares 8 with Nicola's mother, Claudia, 70, does not appear to have received the same invitation, according to multiple Brooklyn and Nicola sources. According to a person with knowledge of the matter, the Beckhams have no intention of reconciling with their son unless Nicola is out of the picture. However, he won't give in to that ultimatum. In the last 3 years, Brooklyn has had more support from his wife than from his parents in his whole life. According to insiders, the Beckhams' animosity for their daughter-in-law extends well beyond a dress and a botched dance. According to a Peltz family source, Victoria and Nicola got along in the first few months, but then Victoria started acting like a jealous girlfriend. She appeared to be extremely envious of Nicola. A Beckham insider disputes this, saying that Nicola is the one who is envious of Victoria. She aspires to fame. When Nicola and Brooklyn were preparing for their 2022 wedding, tensions reached a breaking point. According to a Peltz family source, Victoria had initially agreed to create Nicola's dress, but when Nicola inquired about fittings and fabric choices, the Spice Girl claimed she was too busy. Victoria then called Nicola's mother, Claudia, to inform her that she was unable to complete the gown. Instead, Nicola donned a personalized Valentino creation that required a year of preparation, according to a 2022 British Vogue interview. She was always supposed to wear 2 dresses, according to another source. What about the now famous Mark Anthony back dance, which was so terrible that Nicola fled the room in tears after witnessing Victoria dance very inappropriately, according to her husband. Fat Tony, the couple's wedding DJ, admitted on ITV's This Morning that the newlyweds and their guests found the situation to be really awkward. According to Tony, Mark Anthony asked the most beautifulest woman in the room to come to the stage, and he says, "Victoria, come to the stage," and Brooklyn was devastated. The Beckhams and Peltzes never got along, according to several accounts. According to a Peltz source, their families are so different, adding that the Beckhams' life of high renown is incomprehensible to the ultra-wealthy and secluded family. According to the Beckham source, David and Victoria are very strategic about everything they do because they are basically a billion-dollar corporation. David is one of the most successful soccer players of all time, and Victoria gained enormous fame as a Spice Girl in the 1990s before pursuing a career in fashion design. They have to be strategic and smart about moves they make, says another source. They still have no regrets regarding the way they brought up their children. They always supported Brooklyn in everything, the insider said. However, part of the issue might be his inability to find his way. Brooklyn played soccer as a child and showed promise, but at the age of 15, he gave up the game completely due to pressure and worry after being dropped by Arsenal's youth squad. After studying photography in an arts high school in London, he spent a year at the Parsons School of Design in New York. In addition, he experimented with cooking, modeling, and most recently, starting a spicy sauce brand. Children of celebrities frequently struggle with anxiety and direction, according to psychotherapist and author Jonathan Alpert. As they grow up, they lack psychological privacy, he claims. Under observation, typical errors, identity exploration, and growth pains occur. A persistent dread of letting people down can result from this pressure. It might be challenging to develop self-assurance or a sense of independence when one is compared to exceptionally successful parents. Brooklyn said that in addition to feeling ignored, David and Victoria were attempting to interfere with his financial affairs. "My parents repeatedly tried to bribe me and put pressure on me to sign away the rights to my name weeks before our big day, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children," he said. "They have never treated me the same since, and my holdout affected the payday." All four of Victoria's children's names, including those of Brooklyn's brothers Romeo, 23, Cruz, 20, and Harper, 14, are trademarked, according to records from the UK's Intellectual Property Office. However, a family source maintains that there is a misunderstanding, stating that Victoria got them when her kids were too little to file for themselves. According to several sources, the breach seems to be irreversible for the time being after Brooklyn publicly criticized his parents. People in Brooklyn and Nicola's social circle claim that the pair is keen to begin a family of their own, which exacerbates the familial conflict. Any long-lasting reconciliation, according to Alpert, should occur in private, with open hearts and ears, even though a large portion of it has transpired in public. Deciding who is correct doesn't start the healing process. It won't help to place blame. While mature children want space to establish limits, parents must listen without instantly clarifying intent, he argues. According to a family insider, David and Victoria believe that over time Brooklyn will come back, despite the fact that Brooklyn has set a clear boundary. But until then, they are powerless to do anything.